Americans are confused by Europe and we're gonna talk about it. Hello, you gorgeous donuts. Americans are well renowned for, thinking that America is the only country and every other country is very much like America. So when some Americans leave their lands and come to Europe, they get very confused that things are a little different over here. So I thought we would have a look at some of the worst occasions of this where Americans have came to Europe and been severely disappointed.
Here are my least favorite things about Europe from someone who was just there for 20 days. Number one least favorite thing is there's no coffee. And you might think I'm crazy, but they only have espresso. You can get an Americano, which is their version of our coffee, which is espresso with water, or you can get lattes or anything else you want, or a flat white, something like that. But there is zero coffee. You can't get a regular drip coffee anywhere.
But you've just said there's no coffee, and then just went on to say which coffees that Europe has. You don't see that is hypocritical, my friend. What is drip coffee anyway? Is that just American? The drip coffee is basically just hot water and coffee beans in a filter, and gravity pulls the brewed coffee into a pot. So now, in my opinion, I would say European coffee is better than that. Like, that's basically the same as an Americano. That's probably why they call it an Americano. I don't know why some Americans do come to Europe and go, yeah, there's just no coffee over here. Like, there is, and it's great. I drink it every day.
The second least favorite thing is you can't get anywhere without having to plan. You either have to walk or you have to take a subway, you have to take an Uber, something like that. You can't just get in your car and go where you want to go.
What? I guarantee this guy asks ChatGPT about every minor detail in his life. Of course you can't. Like, it's just the same as in America, I imagine. Like, if you're like, oh, I need to go Aldi, I know where Aldi is, I'll go there. And also, like, is it a big deal to plan? I don't really know what he's trying to say here. Yeah, you're right. Having accessible public transport is such a bit. I also do love, we've said this in a previous video, but I do love how some Americans refer to Europe as just one country. They're like, yeah, Europe. Whereas, like, every single country in Europe is totally different to each other, really. They all have their separate own rules that you have to abide by. Like, the UK is very different to Germany, and Germany's very different to France. France is different to Spain. They're not all just the same thing. As an American's first time in Europe, what a culture shock this is. What? Getting on the bus that takes you from the plane to the inside of the airport? Is that really a cultural shock? Or getting on a bus? What do you do as Americans? Do you just have, like, the tunnel that leads straight into the airport? Surely, like, in big American airports, you have to have these buses. I don't think this would shock me, though. I'm trying, obviously, like, we're used to it, so I don't have the best perspective on it. But I feel like, if I had to get on a bus, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, this is such a shock. Maybe I would, actually. Now I feel like I acted that out too well. Could someone like Jimmy Kimmel even exist in Germany? Yeah, I don't know if Germany's ready for Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel is a comedian who appears on American television every weeknight. He is known for making political jibes at the current president and ruling party. My question is, would this even be tolerated in Germany? In the US, licenses to broadcast over the public airways are granted by the government to private companies, and the broadcasting antennas are all separately owned by other private companies. In Germany, aren't all broadcast facilities owned by the government? Are the people who appear on television government employees, essentially? Would a comedian be able to appear on German television and criticize Friedrich Merz consistently night after night? Genuinely, Jimmy Kimmel wouldn't be even one of the most outrageous things that's on German television. Like, I've been to Germany twice, and just, turning the telly on, I was gobsmacked at what was on just the normal telly there. I couldn't understand anything, but just the pictures were enough. I remember the first time that I got off the plane in Germany and I walked past a bus stop. There was a naked woman on the bus stop, like a poster, not an actual one, just standing there, luckily. I was like, oh my god, this place is mental. I'm pretty sure Jimmy Kimmel will be okay. I don't think Jimmy Kimmel would air his show in Germany and everyone would be like, oh my god, this is the worst thing that's ever happened in Germany. Jimmy Kimmel doing a one-liner about the president. Oh, this country will never recover from this. I want to know who wrote this and who thinks like Jimmy Kimmel's like really out there, like, oh my god, what? Okay, we've got another one about Germany here. All right, this question is for Germans. The question is, do you guys actually have Aldi in Germany? And Lidl actually reply to this saying 9. What, the supermarket that was made in Germany for some reason just wouldn't have any stores in Germany. Yeah, that actually does make sense, to be fair. In what world would this make any sense?
Does anyone else remember when I took James Charles to Greg's?
I'm back, babes. Where are we going this time?
Let's go to Wetherspoons.
What's that?
You don't even want to...
What, like the James Charles? I thought it was just James whoever. James Smith. Is that a person? Probably. James Charles and Wetherspoons, that would break my like complex of the world. You know, like if I was in my local Wetherspoons just tucked into an all day breakfast and James Charles walks in, I'd be like, what? And then he gets like 2 pictures in a deal. I'd be like, this is wrong. Can we just like reset the... this is not right. I don't like it. This would be like Interstellar. Like, I should be behind the bookcase here telling James Charles to go home.
Oh my God, there's everything on the menu.
James asked me what the cuisine of Wetherspoons was, and I literally just replied saying everything.
Which honestly is great for me because I have the appetite of like a child.
We've just ordered, and I feel like we've actually ordered half the menu, so I'm going to let James tell you what we've picked.
Okay, so apparently they have a spice bag on the menu, which if you know me, I fell in love with the spice bag. Okay, we got an 11-inch garlic pizza and a fish and chips. I need the sweet chili. The season...
That curry sauce is not good. Now this literally looks like cardboard.
For sure. It's giving cardboard. That is literally fucking cardboard.
Yeah, but it's Wetherspoons. Like, what did you expect? Personally, I actually like the food at Wetherspoons. It gets a lot of but I actually quite like it. Like, what did you expect? Were you expecting like a Michelin star plate? It is. It's just food. It's just to fill you up, really. It's not like... you know, the best food you'll ever taste. But to be fair, like, I'm pretty hungry right now, and that actually looks banging. Like, I wish I could have that right now. The fact they're mocking it, I'm like, do you not know what you've got in front of you right now? It just makes me hungry.
The spice bag is so good. It's doing something for me.
That's a bit of a plot twist. I'm making James try the fish because I don't do fish.
Yeah. It tastes like any fish and chips, TBH.
So James, your first time in Wetherspoons, what do you rate it?
Honestly, count for the spice bag alone, that was a solid 10 out of 10.
I'm actually really shocked at that.
I can't believe for my first meal back in the UK, you took me somewhere that you thought I was going to hate. You.
I do feel like he was being nice there. I feel like if the cameras were off, he'd be like, this place is shit. Like the stuff he's probably used to. Going into Wetherspoons must be like prison food for him. I do like it when Americans come over and they do like our food though, because British food gets a lot of flack from, you know, every other country, not just Americans. Other Europeans come to Britain and they're like, yeah, this food is absolute shit. I'm glad we're getting put on the map for being good now. If Spoons impresses this man, we need to show him what else we've got. Give him a steak and ale pie with mushy peas.
Strange things in European supermarkets that confused me as an American expat. All cereals in Europe are super plain and boring. Why don't they contain any candy like American cereals, which is delicious? Some cheeses...
Is this gotta be rage bit? Why doesn't cereal have candy? Do you need candy in your cereal? Like, really? I'm not trying to say that you're not an adult if you do, but, you know, surely you can just eat something that doesn't have candy in for breakfast. Like every day, do you need candy in your breakfast? Like, who are you, Elf? But you having golden syrup with your spaghetti as well?
Some cheeses are sold with mold on them, which is disgusting. Do Europeans really eat this?
This got to be rage bait. Surely you can't think that these are all just out of date, especially the price of them. They'd be ripping people's eyes out.
Chicken in Europe is not washed in chlorine like in the rest of the world, which makes it super dangerous to eat. How do Europeans not get salmonella or coli from eating their unwashed chicken?
What a no. That is actually a really great point as well, because what we do in Europe is we actually just like rip open that pack of raw chicken and we just scran it there and then. You know, like when you've seen British people have like fish and chips like straight from the fish shop and they're like it's an open bag. We do the same thing with that. Like the amount of chicken fillet that I've got that look exactly like that and I just bite it straight away. And sometimes I try and get the white bits as well. They're my favourite parts, honestly. Do that next time if you are an expat in Europe. Do it. You will not regret it, okay? I need to make sure that's a joke, because if someone actually does that, they're going to come back. Well, they couldn't come back to this video because they'd be salmonella.iCarly.
Someone in Europe, please explain this to me. Let me give some context. We're in our villa here in Spain, and there is a pool of water. I don't even know if you should call it a pool.
It's posh.
But it's about a foot deep, and it's very warm, and you obviously can't swim in it. So I don't know what to do with it.
I actually know what this is. I don't know. I think this is a normal thing to know what this is, but that's a tannin pool. So it's not an actual pool that you can swim in, obviously, unless you're well, I don't actually know who could swim in this unless you're a dog. It's a tannin pool. So basically, if you want to tan but you want to stay cool, you just lie in there. Like, that's what it's for. Like, you can see it's the only thing in the sun. So that's why they put it in here. Do they not have these in America? Like, I've never stayed in a place that has, you know, your own one of these. But, you know, they have like a public one in loads of hotels, which is very shallow, and you just see people kind of sunbathing in it. This is kind of mad that you've got your own private one, though. And he's complaining as well. Okay, so this video is someone from the UK actually in America saying what Americans think the UK is like.
We're just in the Great Britain section of Epcot around the world, and I'm going to show you what Americans think of Britain. red post boxes, lampposts, and a telephone box. A castle with toilets built into it, gentlemen and ladies restrooms. The Rose and Crown pub.
I feel like when there's things around the world that are dedicated to what the UK is like, I feel like they need to be more honest. Like, this is great, you know, to kind of show us in a really good light, and we do have really good things over here. Like, the UK at the minute is very just down in the dumps, but we have really nice places here. But be more honest, America. I want to see Sunderland High Street. Okay, I want to see like 40 just people, you know, like high on asking you for a fight. That's the real UK. I want to see my culture over there. I want to see the real streets of the UK, not this crap.
This is the other side of the castle-looking building, playing some funky royal music, and it's quite fitting right now because it is raining in Florida as we are in.
Wait, is this what they think houses in England look like? I've never seen a house like this in England.
There is a tea shop, another pub-looking thing like a Shakespeare house, an afternoon tea in this window, the Queen's table.
No wonder, like, Americans do come to, like, Europe and the UK especially and, you know, get a little bit of a shock because this is what they're told that it's actually like.
When this American woman was traveling in Europe, she came across the weirdest realization.
Went to the grocery store to pick up a sandwich to eat it by the lake, and I keep seeing these people sitting in these chairs over here. Like, they're grabbing the chairs from somewhere. So I see that they're grabbing them from here.
And the moment she finds out where people are getting their chairs from, she says this.
And I'm like, where the hell is, like, the place to rent these chairs? In America, you gotta pay for a seat. So imagine the look on the face of the Swiss German woman I asked. She's like, honey, these are free to use. You just have to put them back.
Could this be a thing in America?
I have been to places before where you can just get the chairs and stuff. When you're on holiday, normally with like sun loungers, they charge you like €1 or something to like rent it for however long. I feel like this is more prominent in kind of you know, different European countries more than the UK. In the UK, they kind of charge you for everything here as well. But I feel like in America especially, like, you get kind of your eyes taken out over minor things. Like, one thing in America that I can't believe is when you go into a supermarket, the price of the item on the shelf isn't actually the price that you pay at the checkout. Like, they add tax on at the checkout. Like, that would confuse me so much. Like, why isn't it just the price that it says? Because I'm like working out my money here. I'm like, okay, I'm going to spend this much. I know exactly how much is in my basket here. This is how much I'm going to spend when I get there. Like, the fact that it would be way more when I actually get to the checkout, that would just stress me out. £40,000 sport car from Euro, 179 horsepower. 40,000 sports car from US, 450. Okay, this is just not a fair comparison. So you're using an Abarth, which is a very nice car, you know, it looks like a Fiat 500, but it's fast. It's fairly fast, especially for the weight of it. Some petrol heads will dispute that, but you know, it's fast enough for like our roads. I don't think this is a fair comparison because you can get many, you know, BMWs that are M Sports or, you know, Mercedes AMGs or whatever that are a bit older that are within 40,000, and then you've got a real, you know, competition for this. Is this a Chevrolet right here? So I don't think this is a fair comparison, right? I am very into cars, guys. Okay, so, you know, this one kind of does affect especially like Germany is the, you know, the absolute kings and queens of motorsport. The manufacturers over there are the best in the world, in my opinion. Okay, you've got Porsche, you've got Mercedes, you've got BMW. They're the best. I don't feel like America can take the W on this one. Europe has so many better car manufacturers. Lamborghini, Ferrari, Aston Martin. Like, they have all the best ones. FYI, it's so incredibly sad that nowhere in Europe accept American money. The last time we were there, American money was worth more. Now they won't even accept it. So Italy, Switzerland and Paris won't take it. You mention our money, they squirm. It's a shame. They are our allies. I love that the concept of just using your own currency in another country is, you know, normalized to this American here. Just kind of turn this situation around a little bit. What happens if someone from Switzerland tried to use the currency in Switzerland in America? What would happen? It would be refused. So clearly, it's fine for that to be refused, so why would it not be refused if it was the other way around? We've got another one with American money here. Guys who left US dollars as a tip in Greece when the currency is euros. For the local people, $1 is a lot of money. It's actually 0.86 euros that they can't use. So it's less money than $1 and they can't even use it. Are you really going to go to wherever you can exchange money in Greece just to get 86, like 0.86 euros? I don't think so. You're just going to have it and it's always going to be in a drawer somewhere. This is just so funny. It's like, imagine just us in the UK leaving a tip at a restaurant, but just leaving it in euros. dollars. Like, they'd be like, why have you... This is just it makes everything so much more difficult for me.
And I just found out that people from the UK aren't religious. Like 80% of the population is atheist. Is this what you would call culture shock? Because I'm sitting here like, how is that even possible? In an entire country. Like a first world country. Do y'all not believe in heaven and hell then? Are you like, you're not afraid of everlasting condemnation?
I feel like a lot of people in the UK do believe in religion. There's like a vast array of religions that people believe over here. You know, like I think it's unfair to say that like no one's religious over here. Especially where I'm from. Like the amount of different religions in the town that I'm from is crazy. Like I would say most people are religious there. Most of the schools in my area were like saint something. So like they're dedicated to, you know, someone in a religious scripture. One thing I will say though is I feel like Americans are a lot more, you know, I guess we do, but I feel like Americans can be more, you know, vulnerable to religious psychosis and things like that, such as the rapture, which we've made a couple of videos on. You wouldn't really get people in the UK, you know, kind of believing in something like the rapture was going to be imminent. I don't know why it's a thing in, you know, America where, you know, people can get kind of caught up in that. We've seen very much with like people like Ruby Frankie when it comes to, you know, different other religions or like niches of religion. People can get really intertwined with needing to dedicate their entire whole being to it. I feel like people in the UK can be very into religion, but they don't kind of take it to the extreme lengths that Americans can do sometimes, which is why she might think it is this way. Is that right in saying possibly?
Europeans try to say that us Americans don't know how to act in public European spaces all the time. But I can tell you from experience that Europeans don't know how to act in public American spaces either.
Oh, I've got someone fighting back. I've got a war on my hands. Come on.
One night, my wife and I had gone out to eat for dinner, and we had finished up and we were walking back to the car. And as we were walking back to the car, we saw that there was another car in the space immediately to the right of ours. And we were walking up to it, and we saw that the door was open, and there was somebody whose like feet were outside of the car, and he was leaning into the car, messing around. And he was some European kid. I'm guessing he might have been here for college. And he was joking around with some of his friends that were in the car with him as well. So my wife and I end up waiting maybe a minute or two, and this European dude never notices us standing there. He was just absolutely clueless. And eventually, I have to walk up and be like, hey, I'm sorry, but you're in my wife's way. Can you please move so she can get in the car? And I have to repeat myself a couple times because they were joking around so loudly or something that maybe he didn't hear me the first time. I don't know. But when he eventually hears me, he looks at me like I'm some sort of villain and gets super weirded out by the whole situation. And I have to reinforce, hey, buddy, I need you to just move for a second. My wife's trying to get in the car and you're in the way. And eventually he did. But just the look he gave me as if I was the one in the wrong.
This just seems like the guy that you're talking about was a bit of a knob. I don't think you can really apply this to all Europeans. I don't think I've ever seen somebody with their feet up, leaning into a car and, I don't know, joking around with their friends, he said. I don't know, like, this just seems like you had an encounter with a person that was quite unfriendly. I don't know if you can kind of attribute this to the entirety of Europe here. Like, I've never seen this in my entire life here.
We're in Walmart right now, and I'm going to show you some things that would literally throw Europeans in a coma if they saw. Stock is like all the
oh, guys, I think I'm going into a coma. Not toilet roll.
This is an entire aisle of candy.
Whoa, that is so crazy, man. What, like an entire aisle of chocolate? You Americans are dirty, dog. Yeah, we have that. We have that too. We actually have a whole aisle just for biscuits as well. Ooh, I don't want to send any Americans into a coma right now.
Next up are giant canned foods. Tomato sauce. 6 pounds of tomato sauce. Oh, and you're looking for tuna to last you about 5 years? Don't you worry, Walmart has this canned tuna. And we can't forget the pickles, where each pickle is the size to feed a small family. Next up is literally 20 pounds of rice that you can buy.
Yeah, we have all of these things. Like, you literally can get this. You can also get them in, like, pasta varieties. I used to, when I moved out for the first time, it was, like, really cheaper to buy, like, the big bags of pasta where they actually have a handle. And then, you know, that's just cheaper than buying, like, individual packs. And then you can just kind of put sauce, and it's, like, a really cheap meal to have.
All the Clorox and Tide that you can buy. You can literally clean entire apartment building.
She's basically just showing us a supermarket. Like, there's shelves for things. Yeah, this is not, like, that surprising, honestly. I would be more surprised if everything was on the floor. I don't feel shocked by any of this. I mean, those were big pickles. They did catch me off guard a little bit, but not enough to send me into, you know, an eternal sleep. No, because why have I just found out that Americans can't do bank transfers, so that's why they all use Venmo and Cash App? What? I bet Euro pansies have to wait 30 plus days for bank transfers. They're so behind. I read they only just started getting credit cards with Pay. Meanwhile, we're already on contactless. Love when they try to take credit for a system we developed. Do you not think that we have Apple Pay over here? Do you think that we're all just still dealing in like gold coins or something? The way that we actually transfer money for goods over here is actually in chocolate coins. Every single time I do a video, I get 3 more chocolate coins and I just add them to my stash. I'm just hoarding them at the minute, so one day when they go up in price, I can just sell them all. I'm going to be so rich soon, baby. Don't you worry about that. Can Americans not bank transfer, though? I did always wonder, like, obviously we don't have Venmo or Cash App over here. Like, no one uses that, really.
Are you American?
Yeah, I'm American.
Would you say you're smart? Are you intelligent?
I would say I'm smart.
Okay. Name 5 countries in Europe.
Moscow? Is Paris?
Did he actually ask her that? Like, I'm trying to defend her here. I'm like, did he actually ask her cities and then he cut it and changed the question? Or does she really just think Paris and Moscow is a country? Because that is equally as hilarious. Like, surely you know Paris is in France. Maybe they don't actually. Maybe I am giving a little bit more credit than, you know, they probably need. I know I have, you know, like, I have like a 10% American audience. You love to laugh at yourselves, right? I appreciate it. Surely the Americans watching this know that Paris is not a country, right? Like, you know that. Seriously, if we Americans stop visiting the UK, we'll have an economic depression tidal wave. Majority of tourists in Edinburgh are Chinese or European. The world is not just America. Okay, no, I feel like we should be nicer to this person. I really do. I don't think we should, you know, mock the very people that are keeping our, you know, our place alive right now. This is very true though. I am still yet to really, you don't really, well, to be fair, I live in Newcastle, so it's a lot different. You rarely will ever get an American in Newcastle, like rarely. I can't remember if I've ever actually heard an American in Newcastle. I don't think I have actually. I don't think they know we exist. We're kind of out the picture a little bit. We're basically Scotland, so they're probably just not worried about us. I love that this man single-handedly, like, threatened the entirety of the UK with stopping him coming here.
This could be an ignorant question, but is it egotistical for Americans to think that Europeans should know our historical figures? Before y'all get riled up, let me explain. Today in my English class, my teacher almost lost his crap. Literally, this man was having an aneurysm. He was so shocked. Because he made a comment referencing Babe Ruth, and no one knew who it was. For reference, I go to IE. It's a very international school, and I think I was the only American in the class. Then in Spanish class, our teacher gave us a list of women and said, okay, describe them in Spanish. And there was genuine confusion on who Amelia Earhart was. And yes, I know this is Spain, so knowing about American figures doesn't really do much for Spanish life, Spanish society. But here's where I get a bit lost. Y'all have a history that is at least 5 times longer and more extensive than mine, all with different kings, leaders, bishops, knights. Pretty much everyone is super important all of the time. You'll judge me if I don't know who Louis V's dog walker's aunt was because apparently she was pivotal in signing a treaty, but yet you can't tell me who Sacagawea was. Amelia Earhart. I actually think that's where I'm more screwed up. Amelia Earhart. And obviously, yes, it's impossible to know everyone everywhere. I'm not saying any of this to shit on y'all. I just find it funny. If you watch our movies, are inspired by our lifestyle, know who our famous people are. I promise there's more to us than just burgers and pew-pews.
This is such a weird fight to pick. If you're in Spain and you're learning about historical figures that are in Spain and the surrounding countries, like, that makes sense. Like, why would you learn about historical American figures when you're in Spain? The whole world doesn't revolve around America. Like, obviously to Americans they're very important and that's amazing, you know, like learning about history and stuff for your country. Like, that's really cool. But not everyone has to learn the history of your country. And also, just because people watch American movies and, you know, are inspired, I guess, by American music or whatever, they don't need to know the historical figures in America if they don't want to. Like, it shouldn't be like a basic necessity, in my opinion. I know who Amelia Earhart is, but I don't know who Babe Ruth is. Like, I feel like Babe Ruth is very niche to America, unless you're into baseball. Maybe I'm wrong there, but like, I've heard the name, but I don't know much about the history.
Things in my British hotel that are weird to Americans. Number 1, no power outlets in the bathroom. So the only outlet in this bathroom is just a small one for an electric shaver. 2, no pun intended, 2 different buttons to flush the toilet. So above every toilet, there are 2 different buttons to flush. We have a big one and a small one. And I can only assume these buttons are for number 1 and number 2, respectively, when you flush. So in America, there's just one switch that flushes everything. We do not have 2 different flushes based on how much you just deposited into the toilet. Just one switch takes care.
I love that. Like an American is just, you know, went to a public toilet in Europe and just let off the biggest number 2 ever. And then they're faced with a decision which they spend 10 minutes contemplating. I really wonder if Americans think, okay, so is this one to flush and this one is to eject? It's like cutting like a bomb, you know, the red and blue wire. Like they're just contemplating like the end of their life right now. Which one do I do? Is it going to squirt in my face or is it going to flush? I think this is just to save water. You know, like if you don't need the big flush, then just, you know, do the little one.
Number 3. The ground floor here is called 0 instead of 1. In America, we would call the ground floor the first floor, and the floor above that would be the second floor. So here, the first floor is called the ground floor, and all of the rooms on the ground floor start with a 0, and the floor above that is the first floor. So when we got our room numbers, we were actually assigned to the first floor, and so it was really confusing to us that we actually had to go up a level to get to the first floor to get to our rooms. So to an American, it would appear that this hotel only has 4 floors, but it actually has 5.
Really, would an American look at this and go, okay, this place only has 4 floors? Maybe if you aren't used to this, I can imagine that would be confusing, to be fair. Like, if you hear it first, you'd be like, oh, first floor, we're on the ground. It is a little bit confusing, I will give you that, like, if you grew up that way. But, like, one look at the board, you'd be able to see, like, yeah, there's 5 floors here.
Light switches for the bathroom being outside the bathroom. Why do they put the light switch outside the bathroom? Because that means you could turn off the light on someone who's in the bathroom while they're in there.
I think that's the reason why Europe did that. They were like, yeah, we just kind of want more pranks. We weren't having enough pranks over here. Like, Americans were really running the show on YouTube with prank content. The entire European Union got together and they were like, okay, how can we like bring the game back to Europe? Like, we need more influence over here. So they just started implementing little things like the 1-2 flush thing. That was one thing. You can kind of prank people. The lights outside the bathroom. So when someone's taking a you can just turn the light off, right? Great prank. It's all these little 1% things that added up just so we could become better pranksters. And it's working. You know, like we're taking over the game right now in the prank world. We're really smashing that. So thank you to all the presidents. That is actually true to any Americans watching. On that note, Donut, I am going to end this video. If you want to have a binge watch of all of my videos of Americans being confused by the UK and Europe, click this. It'll take you on a binge watch of them. I will see you over there, my sweet dears. My sweet dears? Okay, that's new.
Kirkham, baby.